Forum for, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members. I'm Brian Lloyd. I'm the Executive Director of the PUC, and I can walk through the action the Commission took and why, if you would like me to. The first thing is, of the $86 million, the piece that's directly related to the action the Commission took last month on dropping the discount from 17% to 10% is $31 million of that number. The remainder of that number was going to be lapsed even if the discount had stayed at 17%, and that was a function of, with the appropriation we had, as electricity prices have dropped and the discount amount has dropped, and the Appropriations Act capped us at 17% instead of 20% as in the statute. So there was a set of money that was not going to be basically able to be spent no matter what action the Commission took. So that's about a $45 million number. The $31 million number resulted from, as you said, Mr. Turner, the Commission's action last month to drop the discount from 17% to 10%. The Commission did that in response to the letter in December asking for the 2.5%, and while it was above that number, that letter asked, as we read it, all agencies to take a broad view across all the programs. And so I think the Commission's desire was to give you all the opportunity to use that money in the supplemental or otherwise, as I testify in front of the subcommittee. To the extent the legislature doesn't want to take that money, we can move very quickly to increase that discount back to 17%. But we felt like it was appropriate for the Commission to basically put that decision here, so we didn't start the program operating with that and then have to come back midway through May and adjust the discount should the legislature decide to take some of those funds. So that was the rationale behind the Commission's decision. Again, the letter requested that agencies take a broad view across their programs to identify savings opportunities in the current biennium, and that's, I think, what the Commission believed it did, with the understanding that action they took could be very quickly reversed if the funds were not desired to be recaptured this biennium.
So broad is defined as intentionally hurting the elderly further by increasing their utility bills.
I think with the programs the Commission has, the majority of the appropriation the Commission gets is for that program. And so while we did the other pieces on our general revenue funding for the agency, that was the other significant piece that the commissioners had that they, I think, felt that they had an obligation to look at.
Except you're not giving the full. I'm sorry, thank you, Mr. Chairman. You're not giving the members the full history of the program, because this program came into effect in 1999, which I helped to create.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I wrote this into Senate Bill 7 along with a few others, so I'm very familiar with this program. And the Public Utility Commission shot along with the legislature. This was a year program initially. The discount was intended to be given every month throughout the year for senior citizens and low-income persons. That was the original intent. The legislature, when it looked out and saw this money coming in, which we assess on people's electricity bill every month, decided to shorten the program from May through October in order to save as much money as it could, to build up the dedicated account, to use it for general appropriation purposes. We shortened the program. Instead of a year-long program, we turned it into like a 5-month program. And the reason why we did it is because we didn't want to expend all the money that was being derived, because we obtain about $144 million a year from this program. Okay? The PUC was a key participant in those actions. And the PUC, through its own policies, determine how much of that money will go to this particular population. And they start narrowing those who would receive these discounts in order to build up the fund balance that we could use for certification. And now you all are doing it again, to come here and to represent to this body that you all are looked over the landscape and saw this excess money as if it was not being needed and was going to hand it to the legislature, and you all decide whether you want it, is a distortion. It's a distortion. And I'm not going to let the PUC come here and get away with it. So we're taking it from people who cannot afford to come up here and lobby for money that we pay every single month to benefit low-income people and senior citizens. And that's how we're choosing to balance it. It's one thing to take 5%. It's another thing to take 2.5%. But it's another to go way beyond that, as if this is just some surplus money where there is no need. That is not the case. And this budget, to the extent we decide to do this, becomes an attack on senior citizens, because we're closing nursing homes and kicking them out onto the street. And for those who are not on the street and in their homes, through this budget, we're getting ready to turn off their lights. That's exactly and act like this is just some sheet of paper with some numbers on it. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it. Now, I may be outvoted, but I'm certainly not going to sit here silently and act like it's not going to hurt people out there on the street. I'm not going to do it. You all were ordered to do it, and you come here and y'all act like we're supposed to be stupid. And you tell the governor, I know the difference between rain and other things. I apologize to the members. But if we're going to do it, at least be factually honest with us.
Transparent.
Just be transparent. And if we're going to do it, if the members are going to do it, fine. But just be transparent about it.